when we opened, I got behind the bar, and my wife and I, opening night, started serving beers. We had no clue what we were doing.
All right, guys, welcome to our podcast. Today we have a very special guest here. He's the owner of one of our local restaurants. It is called Tap Savvy here in Avondale. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first guest. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, appreciate you guys inviting me over. Super excited. My name's Phillip Quintana. When people ask me if I own the bar, which happens frequently, I usually tell them, no, my wife does, but I get to drink for free. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I usually give the wifey credit because she's kind of the she runs it.
Awesome.
The operation on a daily basis. So
yeah. So it's a family business.
Yeah, I mean, the wife and I, we started Tap Savvy back in 2019, I want to say.
Good.
Yep.
So that's actually what I have here. So I do have some questions about that. So it shows that you opened Tap Savvy in late 2019, which is I think the year after there was some crazy things that happened. What challenges did you face as a new business during the crazy time in America?
Yeah, so interesting. We opened up Black Friday 2019, so late November. I remember it was all it was all new to me. We were when we opened, I got behind the bar, and my wife and I, opening night, started serving beers. We had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
Opening night, we just had, so much support. So many people came in to support. They were very excited. And I remember looking at my wife when we were both pouring beers at the beer tower. And I remember telling her, what the heck are we doing here?
Yeah.
Because I'd never been a server. I've never worked in the service industry. And so it was interesting. We really had to learn pretty quick. But that was November. I believe early January is when we started hearing chirps about this illness that was starting to spread. And one of my employees brought it up to me, and I was like, yeah, I heard of that. No big deal. Come on, man. Don't believe all that news stuff. And 2 months later, we were shut down. The regulatory agencies shut us down. That was a challenge.
Yeah.
So we were completely shut down for a little bit. And then after a while, we were allowed to open up as a restaurant. I don't know if we were allowed to open up. We have a license to serve food. So my take was, we're a restaurant, whatever. We also serve beer.
It was a very fine line back then. Huh?
Yeah. And I know there was a lot of, there were a lot of critics going, oh, people are getting sick at bars. And it's like, I don't know, we're all very safe. This is the cleanest place possible.
Yeah.
Much cleaner, I would say, than a normal restaurant. We're not in each other's faces. So it's we had to work through that. I would say we had a lot of loyal customers though, that were coming in every day, getting growler fills, getting cans to go. Our business basically, switched from being a bar to getting cans and product to go.
Everything was to go.
Everything was to go. Yeah.
What inspired you to even start a tap room?
So, good question. A lot of people, I've heard hey, did you start a bar because it's always been your dream? And it's no, I had no dreams of being a bar owner.
Wow.
I think what the motivating factor was when we moved to Litchfield Park, I would say 12 years ago. My wife and I was traveling a lot for work. So I was all across the country going to different bars and tap rooms and breweries. And then when I come home, I really felt like there weren't many options. Ground Control was there. 8-bit was around. But other than that, there just weren't any options.
That's true.
And we felt like we could do it better. So to me, I think it was just a market opportunity. Maybe we didn't feel like we could do it better. We feel like we could do something different, something that the West Side hadn't seen. And at that time, that concept, the craft beer tap room concept, was starting to pop up in the Phoenix area. Your Wandering Tortoise. Wow, that's the most well-known one, especially in Phoenix.
I've been there when I had my kegerator. Getting supplies.
So it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Craft beer tap room, bunch of taps, no food, more of a beer bar. That was our motivation. I just think there was a space in the market and somebody had to fill it.
Yeah, and that was actually my next question of what you thought about the West Valley, and it sounds like it's starting to grow because of you.
Um, I don't know if it's because of us, man. I mean, I would say, I I would say that I think, we've kind of secured a leadership position in the West Valley when it comes to craft beer and the beer and wine business. I'm not sure about like in the bar business in general. We it's a pretty small community. Typically, we know the owners at most of the bars and
Yeah,
a lot of the restaurants. um we all try to support each other. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, I would say that our brand is pretty well known. But hey, small business is a it can always be better.
yeah. And you're
You
help
know?
pushing everything forward, man.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word. Is like you guys can just
We'll
stay
beep
out.
it. We'll beep it out.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool, cool. A
So,
sailor's mouth.
I have a quote from you. Let me find this and let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we're talking about your beer lineup and what you're having. I have a quote that says that you guys quote refuse to carry mainstream beer. Is that true? And if so, why?
Um, so like where's that line between craft and mainstream? Early on, I would say that that was very true. We have specialized, and I think we've done a pretty good job of finding finding products that are very hard to find, very rare, small batch, um, and then we go way out of our way to get that and then bring it to our customers in the West Valley. I guess on that note, I would say over time, I think the customers have changed.
Hmm.
You know, I think back in 2000, and then a couple of years following that, that was a very solid business strategy.
Yeah.
And I think now, it's just people have changed. People are fickle. Customers are fickle. With inflation, that's been huge. And to be honest, craft beer, it ain't cheap beer.
Yeah.
We
Sure.
sell a premium product. It's expensive, and so the business side of that is pretty difficult when you're considering your margins and the actual pricing of your products and what the market can bear. It's so I'm more open to having different beers. For example,
Can they get a Bud Light?
they cannot get a Bud Light at this town. I did get we had a private event at the bar a couple of months ago, and they asked for a keg of Modelo. So, that event, they drank half the Modelo, and then I just kept it on tap for the next week or so, and customers were coming in going, "What's that on the menu? Like, that's not supposed to be here."
Upset.
Yeah, just talking a little bit of crap, but it's all in fun, and I mean, people drink it. I like Modelo. I guess I would say even my tastes have changed. I started in 2019, 2020. IPAs, hazy IPAs, West Coast IPAs, stouts, barrel aged stouts,
Yeah.
Belgian strongs. All these different styles that are not the easiest for most people to drink. They're not mainstream beers. And now, man, I like me just a super light lager, preferably a small batch family made lager. But I'm not too good to drink a Modelo bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, I do stock hams at Tap Savvy. And for those who know, I'll sell it to them if they want it. But if they don't want it, I mean, it's really for me anyway. Super cheap, super easy to drink beer. I can, push back about 4 or 5 of them and feel pretty good.
Yeah.
So I have a deep love for craft beer and good quality beer, but I don't know. I'm not the beer snob I used to be, I guess.
That's good. And that's what happens over time, right? You're not drinking or even eating the same food you were as a kid. So it makes sense
Yeah.
for people's palates to change.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the customer experience. What kind of atmosphere do you have at your tap room, and what are you trying to maintain there when people come in?
Yeah, so that's one thing that I think we wanted to do better than everybody around us. We have some standards that we follow, and that we train our employees, and that is when people come in, you greet them with a smile. When people leave, you wish them well and wish them safety. Get home safe.
Yeah.
Drive safely if you're driving. That's and treating people like that and like their family, I think is what we do. The people that know us and the people that love us and support us, they're really part of the family, and we'll bend over backwards and pretty much do anything we possibly can for them. They're truly part of our family, and we try to make them feel like that. And I think it's sincere.
Yeah.
We have a lot of regulars, and we would do anything for them. And we're always looking for new regulars. So, new people coming in, they're welcome to join the family. If they give us a 5 or a 1-star review on Google or Yelp, they're excommunicated from the family. That's how it is. So
it goes.
Yeah. We're not, I'll just put that out there. We're not one of those businesses that's apologetic on those online reviews.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
I respect it.
Yeah.
So
read our reviews. They're funny.
That's hilarious.
Because I do not apologize. They're out of fan.
You have to be successful, because I have here that you opened up a second location called Tap 2.
Yep.
What motivated you to grow and have a second one?
My family, my kids, they all grew up playing soccer at the sports facility, the American Sports Complex in Avondale. Big facility, parking lot always full, Monday to Sunday. My kids were playing soccer there. They played volleyball there. So my kids really grew up at that space. And for years, walking in and out of that building, there's nothing but, they have all these suites and they're all empty, so we saw the market opportunity there.
Yeah.
And then Avondale became the city of Avondale, they own the property, and they became very motivated to fill those spaces, to get, to fill those vacancies. And they reached out to us and asked us if we'd be interested. And really, it was a timing thing. We probably weren't ready for it. And to be honest, the market and that area probably wasn't ready for it. Just because we were one of the first retail spaces there.
Yeah. To walk up, huh?
Yeah. And then, all those apartment complexes, they were still in construction, and it's still being built out.
Yeah. They're doing a good job so far, though.
Oh, it's looking nuts. And it was a timing thing. We were in a position where it's like, if we want to get in this space, we're going to have to do it now. And I had this mentality at the time where it's like, hey, I'm a shark, and a shark's got to eat. And if you don't eat, you die,
True.
And now I'm kind of a beat up shark, like my fin has like some bite marks in it, and, lots happened. It's, running 2 bars is interesting. Running 2 bars plus a full-time job. That's interesting.
Daddy Shark's been through a lot.
Yeah. I'm like one of those cartoon sharks now. Like, yeah.
It's cool. So St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner. And this is actually why we wanted to invite you in. Do you have anything special planned for St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, we haven't really dialed in historically the St. Patrick's Day holiday. Last year we started selling discount like green beer.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. And we're going to do it again this year. We're probably going to be doing like specials on green beer and specials for people that come in wearing green. We're going to try to celebrate it a little bit better this year. I think there's some bars around the valley that do very, very well with St. Patrick's Day. And hey, we'd like to get in on some of that action. So we'll be running some drink specials, and, we'll be selling the green beer, which, it's not my thing, but, when you drink a green beer, you can't taste it. It's basically food coloring.
But once a year, it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good once a year.
Yeah. I think, I'm all about a holiday that's about partying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless of the holiday, so St. Patty's Day, big party day. I've always been a fan of it. Just, it's been tough to kind of dial it into the business and kind of pull that into our business model.
Yeah.
So
St. Patrick's Day, if I share a little bit, is a very special day for me. It's the day that me and my wife moved into our house, our first house ever. But it wasn't just that we moved in. It was that she was pregnant with our first daughter, our first child.
Okay.
And she had the baby, at the beginning of March. We moved in on the 17th. That's how I know I've never known what date St. Patrick's Day was. But it was this crazy time. We did not get any green beer, but every year we were taking a picture in the front of our house. So St. Patrick's Day has a special meaning to me, not because of green beer, but it was the craziest time in my entire life. Like, cause I moved the whole house by ourselves with a brand new baby. So I'm excited to sit back and enjoy a good St. Patrick's Day, a good St. Patrick's Day beer.
Well, hopefully you can enjoy it with a good beer and a good glass of wine and your wife and maybe hang out with your kid and I'm all about that, man. I think that's a beautiful story and I've got a few like it, on certain special days. So yeah, I hope you and the family have a continue that tradition of having a great St. Patrick's Day, man.
I appreciate it, man. Might have to stop by and get some green beer if you're doing it. I know you don't zip that much.
Text me first, that way I could be there and drink one with you.
Hey, 100%.
Yeah, gotta give me some heads up.
So the question I have as far as like, you guys have been very good about not just serving beer, but being a pillar in the community. Like you said, you're actually filling a void that a lot of people need filled or want filled, I should say. What have you done so far in like the community as far as like support or things that aren't just beer?
Yeah, that's interesting. So I'll tell you something that I did, or that we did that nobody noticed. You know what I mean? And so behind Tap Savvy, there's big neighborhoods back there. I live in that community right behind Tap Savvy. I occasionally walk from my house to the bar. Takes me about 15 minutes to walk
in the wintertime.
I love a little, talk about, some heat runs. I'm an old school Phoenix desert heat runner. So I'm not afraid of the heat. I'm a little older now though. So it's a little, I gotta be more cautious now. I'm
super hydrated.
Yeah. But after the sun goes down, walk over there, earn my beer. But one thing that I'm proud of and nobody really knows is that, that property behind Albertsons and behind Tap Savvy, for years and years, it was just completely overgrown. And what was happening was the property that we're on and Albertsons, those property owners didn't know who was responsible for the upkeep of that area. And as a business owner, like it's not in the front, nobody can see it. So no big deal. But as a neighbor in that community, it really pissed me off walking by there, with all the overgrown weeds. I mean, there were 6-foot tall weeds. There were people starting to live back there in like this, it's like a water retention area.
Yeah.
And, you see beer bottles back there, cheap beer bottles, by the way. I've never once walked back there and saw a beer bottle that we sell. So but yeah, I pushed with the property manager. I pushed pretty hard and really, added some stress to them and got that whole area cleaned up. And it's been clean ever since. I think I forced the property manager that we work with and the owners of Albertsons, the people that own that property or that manage that property, we pushed pretty hard. Like, I mean, I might have said some exaggerated comments like, my community's ready to take action and, we're very upset. And maybe I was the only one that was upset, but that place looks great now.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows about that. Maybe nobody cares. I walk by it and it looks great. So I'm happy.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of neighbors appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because when you're driving and you're walking, and my business partner, Josh, actually doesn't live too far away from there. I'm sure that spoken or not, they appreciate what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's good to know now that you're the force behind that.
Yeah. Nobody knows. And like I said, probably nobody cares. My neighbors, I tried to put a post in the neighborhood community Facebook. I'm like, hey, I did this, gently kind of, trying to just expose it and have people come on in and try to turn it into, butts in seats.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like a lot of communities just want to complain about like other stuff. I don't know.
That's true.
Like people parking on the street or the HOA and
that's my life, bro.
Yeah. HOA. Yeah. So if I'm not complaining about the HOA, nobody wants to hear it. So
I had a client that would call it a HOA. And I would say, oh, you mean the HOA? She said, yeah, the HOA. I had to let her keep calling it the HOA.
Yeah.
So this is a question I have for you. We do this show by the way, guys, we're not sponsored by Tap Savvy. They don't give us money. They didn't bring us any beers. You should have brought, but this is
brought one. We can all share it.
We want to do this for our community so that everybody can be aware of what's happening here in Arizona, in our communities, the West Valley, East Valley. We're valley-wide agents, right? But for people who are watching this, who are young entrepreneurs, you sound like a very astute businessman. You're talking about filling the void, the market. Before we even started recording, we're talking about leases and all types of property management stuff and things like that. What advice would you have for a young entrepreneur watching this of how to get started and to do something that's their passion?
Yeah. So I think as long as you're doing something you really enjoy and you just put your soul into it, I think you're going to be good at it, and eventually you're going to make some money at doing it.
Yeah.
When people ask me, about a business opportunity, or I'm considering expanding a part of my business or doing something different, what I say, and I truly believe this is I I need some time to really obsess and dream about this. Because what people don't realize is that, they see, let me change that up. What people don't realize is that every aspect of that business, I've woken up in the middle of the night thinking about it, how to make it better, why it didn't work, what could make it work. I eat, sleep, drink, and you know what else? Everything about business
Yeah.
and how to make it better. And it's actually kind of funny, being a business owner in this space. A lot of the people, they'll come in and they're like, "Hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? You should really serve pizza here." And it's like, I know, yeah, I appreciate that, but at the end of the day, the reality is I've spent years dreaming about this stuff and just obsessing over all these little details. Um, so I love having a discussion about those people, but when it's like, "Hey, I recommend you do this," like, I know, man, I've there's a reason why I'm doing it or why I'm not.
Yeah.
I've obsessed, and I guess just turning it back into your question, just you have to be willing to just dedicate 100% of your brain to obsessing over that opportunity. And really, I think what people often are missing is that they really should ask for advice and help and people from that space. Um, just a hypothetical example: if somebody's going to open up a beer bar in our area, I want to support them, but I also want to tell them the truth about some of the difficulties and where I believe the market is headed and things like that. Really, to be open to have a candid discussion. I would love to tell you a quick story about when I was in a bar a couple years when I was in, Tap Savvy a couple years ago. Um, we had a fairly regular customer that was coming in, and I knew he was trying to open up a restaurant and he was a partner in that, or had some significant role in opening up a restaurant.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about the West Side, and I was, I told him some of the hardships about the West Side, which happy to get into. But man, he didn't like that. He got up and said, "Man, you're being something about, being a negative Nancy," and it's like, he got up and stormed out. And I was like,
Really?
"I thought we were just talking. Like,
Yeah.
didn't know it, like, I thought we were just having some good conversation." Yeah, he was pretty pissed off and he left. And the other customers in it was like a scene. It was just weird. But like, I love to have discussions like that, just candid discussions about business and opportunities and headwinds and tailwinds, like what's going to help you, what's going to, hold you back.
Yeah.
Things to consider. I love all that stuff. And maybe sometimes I get a little passionate and inconsiderate of people's feelings, maybe. It's tough, man.
If you become an entrepreneur, life's harder than that.
Yeah. I know. I haven't seen him back, and
You don't
good though.
You don't strike me as a negative person. We deal with a lot of people. We deal with the public, online leads, people's fathers and grandmothers and things like that in houses. And we've seen some negative people. You don't seem like it to me.
No, man, I love life. I think one thing about me is I love people. I love talking to people. I love having discussions about controversial topics. Could be about anything, could be about politics. Man, I wish people can discuss politics and not get pissed off. I just love talking to people. I enjoy people. I enjoy being around people. And yeah, that's just kind of who I've been, who I am. Yeah.
Well, definitely appreciate you, man. That's all the questions that I have for you. Hopefully this inspires some people. You got some goodies here. Talk to me about this. What do you have?
Yeah. So just, this is the old school growlers we used to have when we first opened. These are retired, these like smallmouth growlers. So, we've been a place where people can come in and get growler fills, take their stuff to go, buy it in volume, get a little discount. I did bring a beer. I'm not much of a morning drinker though, so if you guys want it, you can have it. I was gonna put it in, but yeah.
Is this your favorite? What type of beer is that?
So this is a Belgian pale ale, and I'm not sure it's my favorite, but it's one of my favorite breweries. So the head brewer at Catalyst, this is from Catalyst, which is they're in Tempe. The head brewer is a pretty good friend of mine. He was a previous owner of Adastra Brewing in Prescott.
Okay.
So or Prescott if you're from that area. If you're from Phoenix, we call it Prescott, and we're proud of that. So his name is Will. He's a great guy. My wife and I used to travel out to Prescott and hang out with Will and his wife, and we used to just honestly we used to get smashed, and it was a fun time. I miss Adastra being out there, but they closed Adastra. He came to be the head brewer at Catalyst. And I'll tell you right now, he's making some absolute bangers. His hazy IPA is called Paradise Valley Hazy. It's unbelievably good. So he's his liquid is really raising the bar in my opinion. So I love Catalyst probably because of the people, because of Will. He's a good friend of mine, and something about like our menu and what we try to do is I want to sell products from people that I really like.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of beer options that we could sell. For example, people say we compete with what's that place called at Westgate? They have like 150 taps.
Oh, Gordon.
No, Yard House.
Yard House.
I don't know the owner of Yard House, so I'll just say, we don't compete with them because I don't know. They have 150 taps. 148 of them I would not, really go out of my way to drink. So they have 150 taps. I can get anything that they have on their menu. And most places are like this. I can get anything they have. I just don't want it.
Yeah.
I have 20 to 30 taps. They can't get anything that I get. There's no way Yard House could get anything that I get because it's too small batch.
Yeah.
Usually we're buying stuff that they'll only let go a couple of cases, a couple of kegs. I mean, Yard House doesn't want that.
Yeah. Specialty beer.
Yeah. It's very specialty. So that's, my goal is to sell products from people that have been good to us, people that have treated us well, like part of our family. And Catalyst is one of them. There's some other ones out there, Simple Machine out in North Phoenix. I love the guys from Simple Machine. Everybody involved with them. TCBC, you mentioned them earlier.
Yes.
Love Justin and Lacey and his daughters. I mean, they're just a great group.
They're good people over there.
They're just good people. And we try to spend money there, and I want to buy liquid from him, and I have before, but more importantly, I just want to go there and drink and spend money there. And they do the same with us. And that's the thing about the West Valley is, we all try to support each other. This isn't a competition. We're all in this together to succeed,
That's good, man.
There's no competition. Ryan at 8-Bit, we're very friendly with Ryan. I will say Christina's better than Ryan. Love Christina. We love Ryan, but Christina, we love her more. It's hard not to.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Yeah. Christina knows. I'll tell her openly. Would never say anything about anybody that I wouldn't say to their face. So, Ground Control with Ian and Stephanie. Love them. They honestly, they were part of our inspiration. They were our go-to spot when we first moved to this area from Litchfield or to Litchfield. Honestly, we didn't move far. I mean, I grew up, born and raised in the Phoenix area, so we just keep moving. We Phoenicians keep moving west.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
As a real estate agent, I can approve that message.
Yeah. Just move west. There's, some good opportunities out here for good place to lay your head out here.
Well, definitely appreciate you coming in, stopping by, and sharing your story with us. And if anybody wants to reach out to you or come visit your restaurant, where are your cross streets so they can get there?
Yeah, so Tap Savvy Indian School in Dysart, just a few miles off of the 10 and the 101 freeway. Neighborhood craft beer bar, can't beat it. It's my favorite bar to go to. It feels like home. Tap 2 Tap Room is in Avondale, off of Avondale Boulevard. That one feels like a sports bar. I left that spot last night at about 1:30, and when I left, there were probably 40 people in there.
Wow.
Sometimes that place turns into a madhouse. So come visit us there. we do sell normal beer there. We one of our best sellers is Michelob Ultra, to be honest,
Hey,
and Modelo.
who'd have thought?
Who would have thought? But those Avondale folks, they're different customers, and they're serious about their drinking, and they're late drinkers for some reason. Litchfield Park, it's interesting. There are a bunch of day drinkers out here. Our crowd comes at like 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then in Litchfield Park at 9:30, people are ready to go to bed.
Yeah, that's true.
Me too, though.
Yeah.
Me too. I love going to bed at 9:30.
I think Avondale has a lot more people, and there's a lot more activities with children and things like that. And you get into the Litchfield Park, so you have more people that are retired, and life's a whole lot slower.
Exactly.
So I want to take my nap before I go to sleep and drink now.
It's an excellent point.
So
but come, invite you guys to come visit us, check us out. Like I said, come be part of the family. Give us good reviews. Give us a 1-star review. You're excommunicated from the family. We can always repair that relationship. But anybody that comes in, we want to treat them like family. And we're excited when anybody comes in, whether they're a regular or a new person. We always try to ask, how did you hear about us? I don't know if you guys knew, we had a billboard up on Indian School in 107 for years. My daughter's face was popping up on that billboard every 30 seconds. And so a lot of people know us from that.
That's cool.
But I will say, I think the future is bright on the West Side. It's growing out here, and we want to grow with that. The population's growing. Businesses are starting to pop up. The beer and wine business is a little clunky across the country right now.
Yeah.
But I think the best places are gonna get past that, and the future is bright. Future's bright.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right now.